Vamp, Donna, and Nia pushed against the heavy glass doors until they groaned and swung inward. The air inside the Cupcake family diner hit them instantly. A thick, cloying smell of burnt sugar mixed with the sharp tang of old pepperoni. They stepped onto the checkered floor, the sound of their boots echoing against the walls like a countdown. To their left, a massive animatronic Cupcake stood frozen on a small stage. It held a slice of pizza for a crust, its mechanical eyes fixed on the entrance. As the three guards walked past, the animatronic head rotated with a low, grinding hum, its gaze tracking their movement across the room. Donna stopped, her hand hovering near her side, watching the plastic eyes lock onto her. The silence in the lobby was absolute, broken only by the rhythmic tick of the animatronic gears. They moved deeper into the building, past the empty tables and the shadows stretching long across the floor. They reached the security office door, pushed it open, and stepped into the cramped space. The monitor flickered with a faint blue light, casting long shadows against the walls. Vamp dropped the laminated paper onto the desk. The logo of a smiling Cupcake brandishing a pizza cutter seemed to mock them. Donna leaned over, her finger tracing the menu items. Pizza crust cupcakes? PBJ glazed pastries? She shook her head. Nia did not wait for a debate. She snatched a grease-stained apron from a hook on the wall and tossed it toward the door. "Let us see if we can do better than this garbage," she said. They marched out of the office and into the kitchen. The space was a battlefield of dried flour and congealed sauce. Vamp grabbed a heavy ball of dough, slamming it onto the counter. Donna grabbed a jar of strawberry jam, uncapped it with a sharp twist, and stirred it directly into a bowl of shredded mozzarella. Nia grabbed a slice of pepperoni, tossed it into the air, and caught it with a handful of neon-colored sprinkles. They were no longer security guards. They were architects of a culinary disaster, ignoring the silent monitors. The oven door clicked shut, sealing their bizarre creations inside. Vamp wiped his hands on his pants, leaving streaks of flour across his palms. The kitchen grew quiet, the frantic energy of the preparation replaced by a heavy, expectant silence. Within minutes, the air began to change. A thin gray haze drifted from the oven vents, curling toward the ceiling. It did not smell like baked goods. It smelled like something dying. Donna stepped back, waving a hand in front of her face as a sharp, acrid sting hit her eyes. Nia leaned against the stainless steel counter, her gaze fixed on the glowing red numbers of the timer. The smoke thickened, swirling in the stagnant air, turning the fluorescent lights into blurred, hazy orbs. Vamp coughed, the sound harsh and dry in the small room. He looked at the oven, then at his friends. "Is it supposed to smell like burning plastic?" he asked. Nobody answered. They watched the timer tick down, the seconds dragging with agonizing slowness. The smoke began to coat their throats, a gritty, sweet savory film that made breathing a conscious effort. They stood in a line, staring at the oven door, wondering if they had just created a meal or a toxic trap. The timer dinged, a sharp, metallic snap that shattered the heavy silence. Vamp reached out, pulled the oven door open, and a cloud of sweet, savory steam billowed into the room. They grabbed the trays with thick towels, sliding them onto the prep table. The pizza chocolate hybrid looked like a scorched crater, the cheese bubbling over the melting chips in a dark, oily mess. Nia took a hesitant bite, chewed once, and immediately spat it into the trash. "It tastes like a burnt tire dipped in sugar," she choked out. Donna picked up a piece of the jam mozzarella mix. She took a small, cautious nibble, paused, and then took a larger bite. Her eyes widened. "This is actually edible?" she muttered, surprised. Vamp grabbed a piece, swallowed, and nodded in agreement. The sheer absurdity of the situation hit them all at once. Nia started to giggle, a high, thin sound that quickly deepened into a full-blown laugh. Donna leaned against the counter, her shoulders shaking. Vamp joined in, his laughter echoing off the steel walls. The tension finally snapped. The laughter faded as they retreated to the security office, the silence of the building pressing back in. They slumped into the swivel chairs. Vamp rested his head on the desk, his eyes closing as the steady hum of the ventilation system filled the room. Donna leaned back. Nia stood up, pulled a stack of spare blankets from a storage bin, and tossed them over her friends. She grabbed a pillow, curled up on the floor, and turned her gaze to the monitor. It flickered, showing static and grainy footage. The mechanical eyes of the animatronic Cupcake on the stage remained fixed in the dark. Nia watched the screen until the static blurred. The office fell into stillness. No one left to watch the shadows move across the floor.